welcome, and I hope you're enjoying your time here so far at ICSC Recon. I know that I am. My name is Angie Van Denzen. I'm here representing a company called Parade Multimedia, and our business is creating brand experiences both in-mall and online, and translating your in-mall experiences to an online experience and vice versa. So I've been asked to come and speak here today about engaging your customers and how to do that effectively. So without further ado, so my job, I'm a social media manager, so it is my job to spend the day on Facebook and engaging with customers, and people think, hey, that would be a whole lot of fun, spending all day on Facebook, but it's hard work. It's a lot of responsibility to be representing a brand, to be the voice of the brand. A lot of thought goes into it, so every interaction, everything that we do online, everything that we say when we're representing a brand is very well thought out, it's strategic, it's very much intentional, and is generally planned. So when we're having these relationships with our customers online, really it's not just about pushing a sales message, but about building relationships. So not just structuring content around what's on sale and what promotions are happening and events and mall closures. We're also trying to engage with customers and have conversations with them that makes them feel important. So it seems like an easy job, but actually it's, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. I say to people, I feel like sometimes a therapist, I feel sometimes like an information board. We are brand managers. There's a lot of different things that we do in a day. So I like to relate social media and engagement to relationships, building long-term relationships. So nobody goes out and gets married on the first date unless you're Britney Spears and you're here in Vegas. Everyone else has to work really hard at this. And so I feel that social media, the engagement is, it's a very long-term process. So someone might like you on Facebook or follow you on Twitter, but you have to work hard to maintain that relationship, to build that trust with them so that they will not only be loyal to you, but they'll stick with you, they'll defend you when you get into trouble. Building a meaningful relationship and a lasting relationship is really, I think, the end goal of any social media strategy, is that you want the other person, your shopper, to be loyal and trustworthy and stick with you, even despite all the competitors that are trying to steal them away. So at the end of the day, it's all about your shopper. It's all about that person you're getting to the relationship with and making it about them more than you make it about yourself. When you make it about them, that's when they're going to be loyal to you, and that's when they're really going to care. So I'm going to give you 5 tips from my personal experience to help you engage with your customers. So the first tip is planning. So as I mentioned earlier, you've got a plan. We don't just walk in willy-nilly and start talking with people. There's got to be some sort of a plan. You want to be in touch with your brand image, you've got to be consistent with your brand messaging, and you've got to speak in ways that are relevant and that resonate with your audience. So you've got to figure out who these people are and to speak to them in a way that's meaningful to them, so that whenever I'm creating a message or a plan or an overall agenda, you're asking yourself, so what? Who cares? If I am the shopper, why do I even care about this message? Why would I share this with my friends? Why would I enter this contest? What's in it for me? So that would be, I would say, the first tip is when you're planning is to think of your target audience and what actually is meaningful and would resonate and what's beneficial to them, because it is a two-way relationship. So the second tip is making a connection. So you're in this relationship with the customer, and what is going to connect with them? What's going to be meaningful to them? And there is some trial, but I think that there's also things that you just know about this person. You know, you're dating them, they like you a little bit, you know something generally about the broad demographic of your audience, but you want to actually come up with messages that you can learn about them, ask them questions that they might actually respond to. So give them content that they can aspire to. Give them content that makes them feel important. Get them involved in the conversation. And when they're involved in the conversation, it makes them feel important. It's validation. So everyone likes to be part of something that's bigger than themselves. And I think that when you can get involved, when you can have a discussion that the customers, that the shoppers care about, that's when they're going to feel important. That's when they're going to feel validated. And that's when they're going to start to really warm up to you and to really care about your brand and really want to, they feel involved with you. Like you're in it together. So my third tip is asking. Follow up and feedback. You have to plan for this. I find it's easy to just have conversation and fall into a pattern where you're just pushing out things that are self-serving. And I think you've got to ask for feedback. You've got to ask people to engage. You've got to ask questions. You've got to ask people to like your post. You've got to ask people to retweet. You've got to ask them to share things with their friends and their family. And if the content that you're providing them is compelling and thoughtful, they will share your information. And having people sharing your information and when they're giving feedback to you and they're answering your questions, it's benefiting both of you. For one, it makes them feel important, but for two, you're going to gain an insight and an understanding so that you can use this feedback to self-correct, to do better, to improve. So when you find that people are responding heavily to one type of question, ask more questions like that. When you find people aren't responding, if it's a bit of a dead air, then you want to not do things like that. So it is learning and growing, getting to know your audience, and the more interaction you can have with them, the better you're going to get to know them. So asking is really important. Build it into your plan, build it into your strategy right off the bat. So tip 4 is all about appreciation, appreciating your customer. Just like if you're in a relationship, you've got to tell that person that you appreciate them. And I think the same is absolutely true in social media. It's your opportunity really to strengthen that relationship. So when people take the time to comment, don't waste that opportunity to respond to them. If they've taken the time out of their day to like your brand or to retweet your message, thank them for doing that. It's so important. Acknowledgement and appreciation, good and bad. If they give you bad feedback, acknowledge it. People are watching. Right? You can't just ignore them. If someone walked up to your customer service and gave you bad feedback, you wouldn't put your hands over your ears and walk out the door. So when someone gives you negative feedback, it's a growth opportunity, it's a learning opportunity. And we've had a number of examples where people have put out a vague statement like, your mall sucks. Well, okay, why? What can we do to help you? Well, actually you need better stores. I'd like for you to get a Hollister and a Journeys and a Abercrombie & Fitch. Well, that helps. That's helpful information. So just by asking, we can learn so much more about our customers than walking away or deleting or hiding their comments. It's never good. People are watching, and you wouldn't do it in person, and you shouldn't do it online. So thank people, even if they give feedback you weren't happy to hear. Thank them anyways, because it's going to build that relationship, and other people will see the way that you're interacting with them, and they'll have more respect for you. So in the long term, if you're talking about a long-term relationship, it's got to be founded on respect. It's got to be founded on loyalty. You've got to treat people respectfully online as well. So my 5th tip is about user experience. There's enough data out there that you really should know your customer, know your audience pretty well by now. So you know what they're into, you know what their habits are. So when you're creating a user experience, and it could be in mall, it doesn't have to be online. I'm talking about online today mostly, but create experiences that people will enjoy, that they'll benefit from. You want to make it easy for people to participate. So don't make them jump through too many hoops. And if you're going to make them jump through hoops, make it worth their while. So give little rewards along the way. You're still wooing them. They're not, even if they're married to you, it's still hard work. So if you know your objectives right from the beginning, have a strategic plan for how you're going to interact with them and how to make them feel special and how to make it easy for them to work with you. So for example, if you're having a contest and you're going to put it online, put it on your Facebook page, make it a mobile site. So it might be more work for you to make the user experience easier. But for the user, whether they're on their phone, whether they're on their computer, whether they're in mall and they don't even have a phone, make it easy for them to enter, and it will be seamless for them. Test it on people that don't use the computer, test it on people that just don't know what you're doing, and make sure that it's easy for them. And if it's easy for them, then it's going to be fun and everyone's going to win. It'll be win-win both ways. So that went really fast. We'll have lots of time for questions. So just to really recap, my philosophy and my strategy is plan. So plan to make a meaningful dialogue, plan to ask, plan to learn, plan to acknowledge, plan to change along the way, to adjust your strategy as you go, and to do a better job of responding to your customers. So once you've gotten feedback from them, use that feedback and correct yourself along the way, because it's a moving target. I learned a great quote the other day from a gentleman by the name of Rick Wyon. He's the social media director for McDonald's USA. He says you don't control everything. You can only hope to steer things in a specific direction. And I think that that's totally true. Once you go out and online and you start developing these relationships, you can do your best to steer it, but things will come up that you haven't planned for, and if you've built those good relationships, if you've built a long-term relationship built on trust and loyalty, and if you've been there for your customers in the past and they've seen you be there for other customers, it will be easier for you. So that's about it. I want to say thank you, and appreciate you all coming here and listening to me today.